Let's
Anyway,
go to number 2.
number 2, for me, it's Drew Allar. It's my guy out of Penn State, the Nittany Lions. This guy has, for one, the first comparison right now that he's getting a ton is Josh Allen. I don't think that's fair. He looks physically like Josh Allen. But for me right now, he is not there, even close to being the freak of nature that Josh Allen is.
It's a very unfair comparison to give anyone.
Drew Aller, his movement in a breaking down pocket is nowhere near Josh Allen. In fact, I think it's one of his biggest weaknesses. He is not great at moving through the pocket. With his size, he should be able to just throw over offensive linemen and defensive linemen. But when a pocket breaks down, he'll start looking at the lineman and trying to find a hole rather than just sliding his feet up in the pocket, sliding to the left, sliding to the right. He loses a little bit of feel there. And then also Josh Allen is known for he doesn't care. He's going to run through someone. Drew Aller, rightfully so, and I like that he does it, protects himself a ton when he runs. He's not a guy that's going to run anybody over. He's a guy that's going to get down 2 to 3 yards early before he takes any hits, and he should do that because he's the only option for the Nittany Lions, and he is kind of the engine that will give them a chance to win a national championship this year. But I still haven't really seen at any point, even in the playoffs, Drew Aller try to run through someone, try to take over a game physically, and that's something we've seen in college football from a lot of different quarterbacks that as it got later in the season, that's when those guys were not afraid to try to run through someone and were less afraid to or were less likely to protect themselves, I would say. This is something Clemson would do a ton with Trevor Lawrence is one of the examples I give you there. But the talent is there for Drew. He's an unbelievably strong arm. In my opinion, he has the best mechanics out of all of the quarterbacks. I think he's just got a perfect throwing motion, honestly, from a clean pocket. He's not afraid to give his receivers a chance, which is something I love. He will throw jump balls, and even at Penn State, where they have had almost zero option at receiver from a jump ball perspective outside of Tyler Warren, he will throw at these guys and give them a chance to make a play. One of the big ones is 4th and 10 in the Big Ten championship game. They were down 14, and he threw a jump ball to one of his receivers literally in the middle of the field. Dude makes the play. And Drew Aller doesn't get enough credit for giving his guys opportunities to make those kinds of plays because receivers are really, really talented, and receivers are going to love a quarterback that gives them a chance. Drew Aller is not afraid to give other guys a chance.
That reminds me, is that a Ryan Fitzpatrick trait? That's what that feels like to me. Could I be
Sure.
making that up? That's what that's what it feels like. I remember him, especially like in Tampa Bay, was like he was just the guy who was just like going to go out there and just give his wide receivers an opportunity. That's what I feel like I remember, but
yeah, I imagine it's a thing of like they know they just have the feeling inside them that is like, I know I'm not the most physically gifted guy on the field right now, and so I'm going to give the guy that is the most physically gifted a chance to go out there and make a play and win the game for us. Drew Aller's got that, and I'm really excited to see how he plays with that now with the receivers that they've brought in the room that James Franklin has already said that they are going to be exponentially better at making the 50-50 catches, so I expect to see Drew throw a ton of them this season. He's massive, of course, 6'5". He's roughly about 220 now. He's lost about 10 pounds this offseason, but in losing those 10 pounds, he's put on a ton of muscle, according to James Franklin, and so he's looking for him to be more physically imposing this year, and that's kind of been how he's progressed. Is his freshman year, he was not very physically imposing. He reminded you of a small. For me, he reminds me of like his freshman year reminded me of what like Garrett Nussmeier kind of looks like right now. He put on a ton of weight going into his junior season, and then now he's lost a little bit of weight and he's back to some muscle mass for this season. So I'm excited to see how he plays there. But I think the maturation last year was huge for him. He made big throws throughout the entire season. His arm is so strong that he gets in spots where he is being sacked like literally being sacked, and he's still delivering a football to somebody. It's what I love to see about him. And now I just want to see from him this year is, can you go out there? You've got no excuse, literally zero excuse. Go and win a championship. Drew's going to get that opportunity. I want to see that, because that is like the biggest knock on the guys that are not Patrick Mahomes, is that they don't do that right now in the NFL.
Sure.
And no one wants to draft a quarterback that's just going to be putting you in that same spot of, oh, you're still just aren't good enough to quite get over the hump, even when you have no excuses. And Drew's got that opportunity this year.
So I'll ask you this then. If he leads Penn State to a championship, what % chance do you think it is that he goes first overall?
I think it's almost a guarantee, unless Lenoris is just like, I think it's almost a guarantee unless another one of these guys wins the Heisman.
Sure.
And I would be surprised if he didn't win the Heisman, Drew, if he had led Penn State to the playoff. And if they're going to win the national championship, they're going to probably have to go undefeated. I think as good as like that season would have been for Penn State, I don't think you want to put James Franklin and that team in an extra round of a playoff game that you have to win the big game, because they will have two of them already in the regular season in Ohio State and Oregon. You have the Big Ten championship, and then you don't want to play an extra playoff game on top of all of that, even if it is at home. And so if they were to win the national championship, Drew Aller's probably the Heisman. So, yeah, it would have to be someone else winning the Heisman, I think, to really kind of knock him off the top spot.
Fair enough.
I think Arch Manning declaring might be enough for Arch to be the number 1 overall pick.
That's fair.
Just because of the name. I think that's a large part of the buzz for him being a top 5 pick right now. I still would have Arch. Arch would be up here. Arch would be my number 3 guy right now behind Drew. But that's mainly because Arch hasn't had the chance to really show any of it yet.
He would be he'd be the biggest unknown in this class for sure.
Absolutely.